So good and evil has no referent if God doesn't exist. Unless we redefine good and say that it means something that makes your life more pleasurable, right? But that's dangerous because your pleasure might be someone's torture. What if someone takes pleasure in killing children and burying them in his backyard, right? On atheism, that is not immoral nor wrong. Atheism does not deal with morality. It's fundamentally non-moral. It's just not socially acceptable, right? Like breaking wind in public or burping out loud. So what if it was socially acceptable? On what grounds does Richard Dawkins condemn child exploitation, child rape, if that society finds it acceptable and conducive to their perpetuation? You see, it's revelation that gives us the Ten Commandments, the Noahidic laws, the moral imperatives of the Quran, which are called al-ma'ruf. Al-ma'ruf, ta'muruna bil-ma'ruf. You call to that which is good. Ma'ruf literally means things that are known. We know these things. We know them. They're axiomatic. How do we know them? They're either taught to us directly from revelation given by prophets, or they're infused, as Aquinas said, upon our very souls by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Either way, they come from the divine presence. Our moral objectives, our objective moral values: don't murder, don't steal, don't commit adultery, respect parents, don't oppress, speak the truth. In ancient Athens, pederasty was very common. Pederasty is like grown men having relationships with boys, right? These are married men. In fact, Socrates says that once he walked into the gymnasium, the word gymnasium in Greek means a place of naked boys. So I walked in, I saw them wrestling naked, I wasn't even aroused. This is what he says. This is the ethos, the culture of ancient Athens. Simply what most people were doing. But in Sparta, another city-state, that is a capital offense to do something like that. Another Greek city-state. Now, if a Jew wandered into Athens, right, in 5th century before the Common Era, and he saw what was happening there as far as this type of thing, he would be able to condemn it because he has objective, principled morality. He believes in a scripture. But an atheist could say, well, that's their culture. They abuse little boys. That's their culture. He could say that because he doesn't deal. Or he'd say, it's wrong. Why is it wrong? It's just wrong. Why? It's just wrong. Show me the gene. Why is it wrong? It's wrong because it eventually leads to the downfall of their society. That's why it's wrong. No, it's wrong, period. It's morally wrong. It's just wrong, period. We can say that because we believe in a higher morality, a moral anchor that's above human intellect. So just as, theists have the problem of evil, right? It's called theodicy. William Dembski, he talks about the problem of good with atheists. The problem of good. So I'll give you an example, something simple. Why would I give my seat to an old woman on the BART train? Atheists say for two reasons: to prolong your species, or for reciprocal advantage. I scratch my back, you scratch yours, because we're all apes at the end of the day, apparently, right? But is that why I give my seat to this lady? Do I want to prolong my species? Do I want her to tip me or something? No. Why would I give blood? Do I want to, why would I do that? They say, well, it makes you feel good. So atheism is an extremely cynical way of looking at the world. Extremely cynical. You help people because it makes you feel good. Right? That's why you're doing everything. So why do it? Mother Teresa is a atheistic moral enigma. This is someone who used to hug lepers, a model of sacrifice and charity and altruism. And of course she came under attack by Hitchens. He wrote a book about her saying she was all about money, she didn't really believe in anything, this type of thing. Because they can't answer, why would somebody do something like that? Why would they give their lives in the service of others? So in conclusion, on the moral argument, if there's no God, there is no moral anchor. If we don't have a moral anchor, then everything becomes relative morally. If everything becomes morally relative, then something like national interest will replace God's law, which advocates objective morality. If national interest takes over, it's going to lead to a whole lot of violence, and that's what we're seeing right now, a whole lot of violence. You know. Yeah, you know, our leaders, they feign Christianity. They're not Christian. Christians don't worship owls. You know, check out the Bohemian Grove. If you haven't heard about it, you should learn about it. Bohemian Grove, just Google it. Okay, this next argument is called the cosmological argument.